Hi, everyone. Dr. Lohman here. Here today to present to you what I think is a very exciting project for both the community, our staff, and our students here in Longwood. We pride ourselves on our facilities and being ahead of the curve always. So this is going to be a great opportunity for us to continue to do that and really push our district forward to the next level. Before I do that, I just want to pop into a conversation about our strategic vision as a district that really guides everything we do and also guided this project design. A couple years ago, myself, the Board of Education, and our administrative team here got together, and we started to talk about where are we going as a school district? What brings us here every day? What guides our decisions? And we put these four pillars in place, and they truly guide our goals as a district, and they guide every project that we put forth, every initiative that we bring in, and we reflect constantly just to make sure that we're addressing all these areas and improving in all these areas on the regular. First and foremost, empowering our students, staff, and school community. Secondly, making sure that we have strong collaborative school and community partnerships that serve as the foundation of that empowerment. Making sure our curriculum instruction assessment practices are as strong as possible. The ones that we have in place, making sure we keep them, and ones that need to be improved upon, that we're constantly doing that and being innovative and supporting our staff and students in all of those areas. And lastly, effective and efficient operations is the only way we make sure that our resources are as organized as possible and as responsible as possible to support all of these goals. Again, why do I bring this up now? Because this is extremely part of this presentation and what guided the development of this project that I'm going to present to you today. I always like to start off all presentations like this with our district points of pride. I'm biased, but I firmly believe that we are the best school district in New York State, if not the nation. Our graduation rate reached 91% from 83% in 2013. Our Longwood music program, not surprised to anyone that's ever been to a concert or a play here, recognized last year as the #1 program in New York State, and we were awarded the NISM Award of Excellence. Last year, we graduated 139 students with the seal of biliteracy, which essentially means that they at least speak two languages fluently, and in some cases, it's three or four. We are ranked fourth in New York State, which resulted in an audit this year. The state wanted to come down and see exactly how it is we were doing what we were doing. And the results of that audit were just glowing reviews saying, keep doing what you're doing, and really highlighting the great work that our teachers are doing here with our students in the area of foreign language. And I can tell you, 139 might not seem like a lot of kids because we have large graduating classes here, but 139 students for a lot of our surrounding districts is the size of their entire graduating class. So no small feat, and it's something that we're very proud of here in Longwood. Over 90% of our high school student athletes earned the NISFA Scholar Athlete Team Award. And that speaks to our students not only being great representing our district on the field, but academically off the field as well, earning top honors. We have a fully operational Longwood Career Center on Main Street in Yaphank. Two of our Longwood seniors were recognized as Newsday Seniors to Watch last year. Over 120 school districts on Long Island. 9 seniors were recognized. 2 of those seniors came from Longwood. The continued growth and development of our career academies and pathways, which I'm excited to talk to you about towards the end of this presentation today. And something that's extremely important that I always bring up and is very important to highlight in this presentation, but in general, a AA+ financial credit rating is almost unheard of for a district with our wealth ratio or lack thereof. And it really helps us with projects like this when we go out and are trying to do some big things in the district. So, to understand how schools are funded, there's 3 main buckets that schools utilize for funding. One of them is the budget that we put out to the community, and I can't thank you all enough for your support each and every year. The yes to no ratio grows, and we're just so thankful for our community's support of Longwood schools. That's the year-to-year budget. School districts have to spend that money between July 1st and June 30th every single year. You can't carry, that money over year to year or continue projects year to year with that budget. It's a 1 year at a time snapshot budget. We also have reserves. A lot of people misinterpret what reserves are for school districts and think it's simply a savings account. That is a basic way to think about it, but there's a lot of laws and regulations that dictate what we can and can't spend our reserves on. Some reserves are for specific things. The main reserve that we usually think of is our capital reserve. In order to establish a capital reserve, it has to be voted on by the community, and the community will set forth both how much you can save in the life of that reserve and how much you can save per year. They put maximums on that, and I'll talk to you a little bit more about that later. But we're a large school district. Even if we had astronomical ability to put money away, we just could never possibly have a large enough reserve to take care of all of our facilities here, just being the size of our physical plant. And last but not least, what I'm going to talk to you about today is a bond. And why would school districts use a bond? Why would they go forward with something like that? It's actually a way to offset the burden on the taxpayer. Large capital projects that are bonded out, if they were not bonded out, otherwise they would have to go into the general budget that I talked about before, which is just 1 year to 1 year. And just as an example, if we had one project that I'm going to talk to you about, which is the roofs that we have to do, it's about $22 million. And if we had to do that in the regular budget, that means that our budget would go up $22 million in 1 year just for that project, and would create an unnecessary tax burden on our community. A bond helps us to spread that project out over a 15-year period where we're slowly paying that back. We get a large amount of state aid on it, and it eases the burden on the taxpayer. And I'll get into those specifics for you right now. Ultimately, I just want to talk to you a little bit about how we got to where we are before I get into the specifics of what we're looking to do and what the financials are. Our Board of Education puts out a building condition survey each and every year, and that's a 5-year building condition survey, and it lets us know where are we at with our facilities, what are the conditions of our facilities, and our architect comes and gives us a report on that, and ultimately we're able to make decisions from there. In addition to that, we've reached out to all of our principals and asked them, what needs to be done in your building for students, for staff, and myself, some of my administrative team, and our operations and maintenance staff walked through every inch of this district to take a look and get eyes on the facilities to see what needs to be done, what needs to be upgraded for our staff, for our students, and for our community. And here we are today at the bond proposal. So as I mentioned before, we have about 500,000 square feet of roofing that has to be done. Our last large capital project was in the early 2000s. At that point, where it's called the Capital Expansion Project. I'm sure many of you remember that. And a lot of those roofs are coming due. So, it's time to do those roofs, and you can imagine how much the roof on your house costs. We have just under 500,000 square feet of roofing that has to get done across the district. We also have just under 1 million square feet of parking lot. Over time, we've done repairs that we can. And the good part about going out for a large capital project like this is some of these paving projects and curbs and stuff like that normally would not be state aidable, but because they're part of a larger capital project, we're able to get back that state aid on this project as well. You can take a look on the left side. You see the conditions of some of the bathrooms in our buildings, and some of these buildings were built in the 50s. This is somewhere that needs to be upgraded. We need to make sure that these facilities are adequate and that they're in the right condition for our students and for our staff. Another thing that we're going to be doing across the district is replacing most of, if not all of, the classroom doors inside the district to make sure they're as hardened as possible for security reasons. Also, the picture I have on the right, any classroom door that has a window like this with the mesh inside has to be replaced for safety. It is no longer what is recommended. Our cafeterias, like I said before, we try to spend a lot of time on areas that our students spend time in, especially areas where they're not necessarily in class, but they get to relax a little bit and enjoy some of their free time. We want to make sure that those spaces feel as welcoming and as calming as possible for our kids and are the modern spaces that they deserve. On the left side, you see top left is one of our high school cafeterias, very dated, needs some upgrades. Same thing with our CEW cafeteria on the bottom left. Across the district, the cafes look like this, but we just wanted to give you an example of what they look like. You have some flooring in there you can see is cracked in need of repair. And on the right side, we just have some pictures of the potential of what those cafeterias could look like. Again, not exact designs, but just to give you an image of what's possible. You see a lot of cafeterias now in modern schools and definitely college level looking like this. More intimate spaces for kids, more modern, more open, and much more calming places where kids can decompress a little bit and relax. Another part of that project is making sure that each of our cafeterias is branded with the school colors and ties in each of our schools to Longwood. This is an example our middle school is working on. The bottom right is a blank outside hallway that it currently looks at right now, that wall. And right above it is the branded design that their team has put together with our colors, our logo, motivational quotes for kids, And the whole entire cafeteria will have a wall like that on the interior and the exterior as well. Just an example of what the middle school is designing right now, but each of our schools will have that opportunity to be part of designing their cafeteria space for our students. On the left side, there are a ton of flooring and ceiling spaces that need to be replaced. We're going to be replacing all of the flooring in every corridor, in every building, in every school in the district. One of the things, there's tons of research that shows that the space that you're in will dictate how you feel, will dictate how you perform. So we want to make sure that our kids have open, updated, clean spaces that are welcoming and warm to our kids to make them perform at their best and feel as comfortable as possible. You can see over time on the left-hand side, we have mismatched flooring. Repairs have been done over time with the material that we could get, which is over years and years led to a lot of mismatched flooring. We have a lot of places that the floor is cracking. You see some of the ceilings need to be replaced. Anything with that black tracking and old tile will be replaced. Anything with water damage or falling apart, as you see in the middle there. And on the right-hand side is just examples of, again, what new ceiling would look like, what new flooring would look like. Again, not the exact colors, but just to give you an example of what nice, open, clean, uniform floors could look like. And that's one of the things that I think, we have the most pride about putting forward in this project. On top of that, we're also going to be painting every single building in the district. Nice, clean, updated, open, bright spaces, well lit, nice, welcoming paint. And fresh flooring, I think, is going to go a long way in creating welcoming spaces for our students and our staff. One of the things I've heard constantly since I've been working in the district, which is a pretty long time now, is our elementary stages. We have, as I said before, the #1 program in the state, and our kids deserve the best possible stages and performance areas. And, I've heard it from the elementary parents, every single conversation that I've been down to over time is just, these stages could really use to be, upgraded. And we want to make sure that our parents know that we've heard that call. And we're going to be upgrading our stages in each of our elementary schools and our middle school. Also, on the right-hand side, you can see an example of a STEAM lab. All of our elementaries and middle school will be getting a STEAM lab. Again, just an example of what it could look like. And on the bottom, multi-sport courts at every elementary school and middle school. Great for kids, great for the community. Any pickleballers out there, you'll be able to go to your community elementary school after hours and play a little bit of pickleball. Our kids will be able to play multiple sports. They'll be lined for multiple sports, and each of our schools and middle school will have one. Just a great opportunity for physical education and recess for our kids. And like I said, our community as well. On the left-hand side is our middle school activity court, another very dated space. We do a lot of activities here for our community, a lot of school district activities here, and it's just dated. The lights that are in there, if you turn them off, and in many instances, it takes almost an hour for them to turn back on. The top, you can see just a very dated space. And the right-hand side is just an example of what it could look like. Not specifically what it will look like, but just to give you an idea of what it could look like compared to what it looks like right now. But the idea is going to be modernize the space, long overdue, and make sure that it is representative of where our kids should go to school, where they should be, and should really be, one of the premier spaces in our district. We hold a lot of district events there. If you live in this community, you've been there. The other space, I'm so glad that we did our district walkthrough. This is a room, once we walked in, we knew instantly had to be upgraded. Behind that stage in the middle school is the middle school music suite. That middle school music suite over time has been held together, literally, as you can see, with tape. These are walls that cannot necessarily be replaced, so they've repaired them where they can. Some pieces of the flooring is held together with tape, and really on the left side, you can see just an overall dated space. Our music teachers, our music students deserve the very best spaces that we can provide as we do in other buildings, and it's time to upgrade this space for our students. If you live in this community for any amount of time, how seriously we take school safety and security. We were actually recognized this year by the Suffolk County Police Department for the initiatives and that we take when it comes to school safety and the protocols that we put in place. I don't know of another school district that has had that honor, and I'm so grateful that we were recognized earlier this year by the police commissioner and his entire team. And just really want to continue in that vein with the projects that we take on here. Our middle school, I don't want to get into the specifics of what exactly is going to be done, but our middle school needs some security upgrades. And the biggest upgrade that we're going to be doing there is making sure that each of our houses is locked down and that nobody can gain access to our students in those houses unless they belong there. Another thing that we're putting in, we have some aging concession stands at our middle school and junior high school that were actually shipping containers at one point. We want to make sure that our community has access to concession, has access to bathrooms with all the events that happen at our middle school and junior high school, and are able to come out of the weather if they need to. So this is an example of what that could look like as well at our middle school and junior high school. All of our turf fields at the moment currently reside at our high school, and we want to make sure that our students are playing on the same surfaces in the junior high school that they will ultimately play on when they get to JV and varsity. Also, we want to make sure we have another field our community has access to. So at our junior high school, we're going to be doing a multi-purpose turf field over where the softball field is right now. Really excited about that project. It's going to be lit. We're actually going to be adding lights to the high school field as well, and making sure that the community has access overall to this field. And since it's currently the softball field, we're also going to be moving the softball field over to the field on the right over here and redesigning that space to be regulation softball field and our baseball field as well. Our high school library definitely needs some upgrading. If you look with some of the large bookshelves that we still have there, very traditional, original to the building, and makes it difficult for our staff to supervise. So sometimes some of these areas are closed down. Our students rent out this space, and I say rent out because they have to sign up to use it during their off periods, and it is always, always, always packed, and there's a waiting list. Our students come here. They spend their time here. They get projects done. They decompress here. They work on some things. They hang out quietly with their friends. They read books. It should be a space that's reflective of all of those things. And currently, it's we try to do the best that we can with some furniture upgrades, but it's really due for an overhaul. If you look on the right, you see some modern libraries and what they look like in schools. And we want to make sure that our kids have the very best space possible that is conducive to the activities that they engage in when they're in that room. So we want to make sure that we get that done for them. Another piece is upgrading the visitors entrance at Longwood High School. Currently, all of our students and our parents go in where it says student holding there at the top. And the issue that we have with that is twofold. One, you have students and parents coming in the same entrance. And number two, when there's a line out there, our parents are in the weather. So we want to make sure that only students go through the top. We'll be redesigning and creating a visitors holding area where parents can come in and sit down outside of the weather while they wait to get checked in. And then once parents are checked in and cleared, they'll be able to go through this hallway, and they don't actually mix with any of our students until students are cleared as well. So students will be cleared, they'll come through this way like they do right now. Parents are cleared, they'll come through this way, and they won't intermingle until they've both been cleared. And like I said before, our parents will be able to come in out of the weather and while they wait to be checked in. Our field house is in need of some, repairs. It would be an understatement. The inside of the field house is really dated. It's original. Our teams in there, could really deserve a better space. Our concession needs to be upgraded, and there needs to be some safety aspects put in. Right now, there's parking spaces that butt right up against the building. There's some curbage here that gets in the way, and people trip on those curbs. We want to make sure that we're separating traffic from people. And make sure that people have a nice space that they can get something from the concession. They can sit down with their friends, with their family, enjoy their food while they are waiting for the game to start back up again. Also, this creates a nice pickup and drop-off line for our parents who are dropping off and picking up. And again, most importantly, on top of being a modern upgraded space, that's kind of a pillar of all the community events that we do here. It's a safety issue now. Being able to separate our traffic from our students and our families is going to be a tremendous upgrade. The last portion I'm going to get into, I kind of touched on this at the beginning of the presentation, but I just want to give you a history of our career academies and pathways. One thing I love about Longwood, and it is through the entire organization, whether you're a teacher, a staff member, administrator, community member, people are always jumping on ideas that are great for kids, whether it's an innovative program, even if they might not, everybody doesn't understand, what it's going to develop into in the future. We have people that are instantly ready to jump onto a project and see it all the way through. This started as just a vision in 2015. And we started talking about, making sure that kids are first choice ready. We want to make sure that when students leave Longwood High School, if they want to go to college, they're ready for that. If they want to get a job, they're ready for that. If they want to go to the military, they're ready for that. So we continue to strive towards that goal every single day. In 2015, you can read what our goal was. We wanted to make sure that kids had either a post-secondary or career plan. They'll be able to take credit-bearing and not remedial courses when they go to college. Be able to take credit-bearing college courses in high school while they are completing their high school requirements, have a work-based learning experience or a senior capstone project, digital learning experiences, and complete one of our pathways here. Where are we at today in 2024? Our college partnerships for dual enrollment are through the roof. The opportunities that students have to take here today are really, really, really amazing. Talk to parents who have seniors graduating or graduated in the last couple of years. Students are not starting as freshmen, and in some cases, students are starting as juniors. We even had a student last year graduate from graduate from Suffolk Community College with an associate's degree before graduating from Longwood High School. And the best part about all these opportunities is because it's a dual enrollment opportunity that they're taking here at Longwood High School, it's at a discounted rate for our community, which has saved our families about $750,000 to date and counting every single day. As I mentioned before, we had a graduate with their associate's degree from college before graduating from Longwood High School last year. We have a ton of opportunities for our students to be on college campuses. We want to get them there as much as possible, get them whether they're taking an entrance exam or whether it's just the opportunity to learn the campus and see themselves on the campus. We're increasing those every single day. We have almost 100 opportunities for paid internships for our students. And really where I want to get to right now is our CTE endorsed pathways. CTE stands for Career and Technical Education. We have 2 current endorsed pathways by the state. One of them is business management and entrepreneurship. Another is culinary and restaurant management. And we want to continue to build those programs for our kids so they can leave here with a state certified, recognized program. We want to get our auto program certified. We have an existing auto shop. It's a phenomenal shop, phenomenal program, phenomenal instructor in there. If you didn't know, it really is one of the nicest areas we have in the district. They do a great job there. We want to get that program certified for our kids. The Board of Education is actually going to give up their boardroom and relocate it so that we can build a cosmetology and barbering space for our kids so they can be part of a certified cosmetology barbering program. And that's this orange space right down here. To the right of that orange space is this yellow culinary arts space. We're going to build a fully industrial kitchen so that our students can have a full culinary experience and leave here through a certified pathway in culinary as well. Up top in the blue, right now between this yellow and this purple is an open courtyard at the high school. This is the visitor's entrance down here. So we'll be filling in that open space to build this second half of the culinary arts space and this engineering manufacturing lab. If you pay attention to any of the jobs that are opening right now, the wind energy projects, we talked to a master chief from the Navy who's talking about how much they need students with the engineering skills. There is a supply chain of manufacturing that happens on Long Island that we will not be able to fill as an island those jobs fast enough unless we're producing those students with those skills. So we want to make sure we're ahead of that curve as we always are and build an engineering manufacturing lab so our students can be part of that program and leave here with a certificate as well. And we'll be doing some modifications to our media production lab up there in the purple. The last program I want to talk to you about, very excited about, we just, I mentioned before our cosmetology program, I think is going to be a huge success. We recently had a career expo up at the high school, and that booth was filled with students for cosmetology. Another program that's going to be filled is our Hopeful Future Medical Assistant program. The location of this program and the room that we want to set up, we really talked a lot about, and we want to make sure that it's down by our athletic trainer and our nurses. So we look for a space down there. That space is our current cardio room. Our cardio equipment exists there, which led to another conversation about, well, where are we going to put the cardio equipment? So then we started looking at all of our facilities, and we said, well, we have a separate weight room, separate cardio equipment. And then I found out that not all of our athletes use the weight room. And we want to make sure that both our male and female athletes are able to walk into a modern physical fitness space that has everything they need to train for their sport. On top of that, We want to make sure that it has all of the equipment and programs possible to make sure that we stay cutting edge with our physical education programs. So what did that lead to? Over here on the left side, we have a gym space that everyone agreed as we had conversations. Let's bring our weight room and cardio together into that space and design it as a space that our kids truly deserve. Over here on the right hand side, you see some pictures of what some modern high school gyms look like, and we're gonna have a design team come together and see how we can make this space over here on the left the most modern and up to date and equipped space for our students, both for physical education and athletics. And it's a space that all of our athletes will walk through with pride when they walk in there and know that we have one of the best facilities out there to complement one of the best sports programs that we have out there. On top of that, if you've been around this community or Long Island at all, and even the state, you know that Longwood has a reputation when it comes to wrestling, but it will surprise you to know that Longwood does not have a dedicated wrestling room. Our teams roll out the mats and roll the mats back up every day, and we'd like to give them the dedicated wrestling space that they deserve. So this medical assistant program led to two opportunities in conversation, one being the fitness center, and the second being taking our current weight room and making a dedicated wrestling room that is long overdue and well-deserved for our wrestling team here at Longwood. So again, just some pictures and ideas on the right of what that could look like, but tremendous opportunities for our kids and for our district moving forward. One of the last things is we have a phenomenal opportunity here. We actually still have our original schoolhouse in the district right here in the picture. One of the things that we want to do is restore it to its original schoolhouse. It's been an office building for the last couple of years. We want to restore it to the original schoolhouse. Board of Education is really proud of that building and want to make sure that it is reflective of the community and something the community could be proud of. Ultimately, we'd like that to be a community resource center. And also a building that the community will have access to for different meetings and things of that nature. And last but not least, our Longwood Career Center that I mentioned before. We got some parking lot projects to do over there, some exterior improvements, bathrooms, and HVAC replacement. So that was a lot. I'm sure you're thinking that was a lot, but the important piece that probably on everyone's mind is what's this going to cost me? And that's kind of the importance of what I was talking about before when it comes to a bond project and putting everything into the bond project because of the things that we get building aid back on. And we're in a unique opportunity where our building aid is as high as it's been. So top number is the total project cost, $158 million. And you see that number at the beginning and you're like, oh my God, that's a lot. But at the same time, there was a lot of things presented in that project. This is where the opportunity that we're in right now really comes to fruition. Our state aid numbers are almost at 75%, which means that we'd get state aid reimbursed up to 75 cents on the dollar that we spend on this project. So just as an example, the state, we're at 74.9, almost 75%, the state would reimburse us just over $118 million on this project. Our reserves, I talked about before previously, the community approved a capital reserve, and we're going to utilize that reserve towards this project to offset the community cost. So that's just over $17 million there, making this entire $158 million project ultimately cost the taxpayers $22 million, just over $22 million. The positive impact of state aid, I just wanted to give you some physical examples. I kind of referenced them at the beginning of the presentation, but just the roofing project would be almost $22 million. After the 75 cents on the dollar, that's just over $5 million. The paving project is just under $25 million. After state aid, it would cost us $6 million. So that just illustrates, again, why this bucket versus that bucket versus another bucket. I have here, just if you want to see it, I mentioned the highlights of the things that we're doing, but there's every single detail of what we're going to be doing in each and every building here. If you want to look through that, again, this will be on our website. But I wanted to also give you a breakdown. Again, I just showed you how the $158 million breaks down to $22 million, but that doesn't answer the question, what am I paying as an individual? We wanted to make sure you had that information. So we contacted Town of Brookhaven, and we asked them, what's the average home assessed at in our school district? And they gave us their number, which the Town of Brookhaven uses tax units Even though I used to be a math teacher, I figured it would be easier to translate it to something else instead of breaking that down for you. So we asked them to translate that to a school tax bill. So the average school tax bill in our school district is just over $7,000. Just the school tax bill, not the overall taxes that you pay on your property. So if your school tax bill is the average, which is just over 7,000, when the project is all said and done, it would cost you about $15 a month. And the reason I say all said and done is because we don't borrow all at once. That's what we do, is instead of using the regular budget like we said before, because that would create too much tax burden because it would all be done in one year, going for a bond allows us to borrow in multiple phases and spread a project out over multiple years to ease the burden on our taxpayers. Additionally, we don't borrow that money all at once. We borrow it in phases, and we wait till the rates are as low as possible to save our taxpayers money. So that's when I say, when it's all said and done, years down the road, that's when it will be about $15 a month for the entire project for the average homeowner here in Longwood. The next thing, I talked about, we're going to be using some of our capital reserve that we've previously established in order to offset the cost of the community. Being that we're using the reserve, we'll also be asking to your support in establishing a new reserve. And we're going to be asking for a lifetime contribution of $30 million. Again, that just means we're capped at $30 million, can save no more than that. And the maximum annual contribution of $6 million a year. That just means, again, capped year to year at $6 million, can't put more than $6 million in it, and a lifetime contribution of $30 million. That doesn't mean we have to put $6 million a year, just as we can't put no more than that in order to make sure our next capital project down the road that we have some savings to put in to offset the cost of the community. The other thing, we actually put together a second bond proposition, and the reason we did this, it happened to be a particularly hot September. Got a couple phone calls and heard some things from parents, just inquiring about air conditioning. Where are we at with air conditioning as a district? So we wanted to give you the opportunity to vote on this second proposition that would include electrical upgrades, gas meter upgrades, and HVAC equipment that would air condition the entire district. And that would be done now, once the bond is passed, and then we put the plans up to the state. Obviously, wouldn't be done immediately. It would take a few years to go through that process, but it accelerates the process of replacing our HVAC and getting all of our schools air conditioning sooner than later. And on the right-hand side is just an illustration of what percentage of air conditioning still needs to be done in each of those buildings. It ranges anywhere from 30% to over 80%, just to give you a picture. And again, the cost of just this project would be $35 million. The unique opportunity we're in right now, if the community wants to go forward with this, is that almost 75% state aid, which the state would reimburse us over $26 million of that 35, making that project cost just under $9 million. Again, what does it cost me as a taxpayer? The average taxpayer would cost just over $4 a month. Again, if you're more than that $7,000 school tax bill, a little bit more than the $4. If you're less, a little bit less. But ultimately, you just wanted to give the community that opportunity to do that as well. The important piece to know as we go through these projects is the first capital project that I presented to you has to pass in order for the second air conditioning project to pass. The second's contingent upon the first one. The first one are the things we need, the facilities, things that need to be upgraded to really maintain our facilities and protect the investment and to move educational programs forward for kids. If that project passes, then the second one can pass. If the first one does not pass, the second one cannot pass on its own. Just wanted to give you all that information. Again, we appreciate your support. This community has always come out to support Longwood Schools, always supports programs for our kids, and we can't thank you enough. Just wanted to inform you as much as we possibly could. Here's some important dates. On March 21st, I just presented to the board at our community forum. On May 9th, there'll be a public forum, a public hearing, where we'll present again. And on May 21st, we ask for your support once again to come out and support our budget, come out and support this capital project for the community, which I really cannot tell you how excited I am about this. And our Board of Education election will take place as well. We're committed to make sure that our community can make as informed of a decision as possible. So we set up On top of this presentation, a dedicated email address, which you see on the screen right now, Longwood Capital Project 2024 at longwoodcsd.org. Any questions that you have, my staff is copied on that email. I'm copied on that email, and we will get back to you to answer your question. We want to make sure, like I said, that you are as informed as possible, and just really appreciate your support and everything that you do here in the community and everything you do for kids. Can't wait. And, like I said, just looking forward to continue to work together to make Longwood as best as it possibly can be, and continue to grow our programs and our facilities here, and upgrade our facilities to make them as welcoming for our students and staff as possible. Thank you all. And any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. Be well.